Welcome back to Breakfast Central on a Friday morning. It's time for us to take it lighter. Yes, of course, a bit. Well, let's talk culture this time. The culture of different African tribes and people has no doubt affected the way music is perceived. Kenya has multiple types of folk music based on a variety of over 50 regional languages, with the guitar playing a dominant part in making instrument. Benga music has been popular since the late 1960s, especially around Lake Victoria. Well, in Cameroon, the best-known contemporary genre is, of course, Makossa, a popular style that has gained fans across Africa, and its related dance craze, Bikutsi. Well, in Nigeria, the country's renowned genres are indigenous. You have Apala, yes, Apala, Fuji, Juju, Afrobeats, Afro Juju, Waka, Igbo rap, and not forgetting to Yo-pop, and of course, you've got gospel. You've got so many of them, so many. Well, with us today is an artist who has produced and sang songs laced with cultural orientation in the Yoruba language. He's also a comedian, presenter, and sports enthusiast, by the way. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Jafextra, good to have you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good. All right, so let's start off first by asking the first question, which, of course, our viewers are likely to know. Tell us about the implication and how the African culture has indeed impacted so much on the current music that we're hearing today around the world.
Oh, okay. So my take is, as a group of people, there is no way you can exist without being or showcasing who you truly are. And over time, as Africans are becoming more aware and more respectful of our ways of life, it's inevitable that it will showcase in every aspect of our lives, which includes, especially most importantly, the music. And forget, music is a universal language. It's the easiest means of communicating our ways of existence to the world. So invariably, the way we've lived is just natural that it becomes how we express ourselves. And then over time, we realize that, before it used to be influenced on the Western music, but over time, kudos to the new guys, especially the new guys, group of artists, and of course, the earlier ones that have set the precedent. Over time, we discover that our style of music, especially the instruments, the percussions, separates us from the general kind of music that we've been used to. So, it was a matter of time, and kudos to everybody doing it out there. The culture is just coming through.
All right. So while I wait for Oluchi to join us in this conversation, you are a man who has an impeccable cultural understanding and background as well. You've been that cultural man. How long have you been doing what you're doing? First of all, what's the type of genre that you do? What's the genre of music you do? And how long have you been doing this?
Okay, so I refer to my kind of music as organic sound. Why organic? Because I play basic. We use basic instruments to make the kind of music I make, and to a large extent, I try to infuse my culture and my language to my singing, and most of the times it's a reflection of what goes around in my society, my environment, how my people live, and I've been doing this since 2004, and that time it was a difficult choice because people were going for the normal Afro hip hop and everything, and they were wondering why are you being so local. That's what they used to refer to us at that time. But over time, it kept changing. Now we're indigenous. Now we're cultural. So that is the transition. But some of us have seen this since as in way back, that the only way to advance our people is by showcasing our way of life in our music. And that's why I've been doing that. But then people think I sing high life. Yeah, it's a bit of influence of all kinds of genre of music just to post into one, and then led by the language, which is actually the indigenous thing that is key about my brand of music. Of course, with a lot of English, so that I can carry people along in the music.
All right, quite interesting. I'm having that infusion of all types of music. Well, Oluchi joins us as well. Oluchi, it's good to have you. Looking at cultural music and how it is being displayed, especially on the global scene, where we've seen international artists, popular artists who are indeed vibing and dancing to the African cultural beat and instrumental, what is, known as Afro beats. What are your thoughts as well? You have questions for Jeff Extra is here with us.
Yes, I do for Deji. I mean, he talked about infusing our cultural information and background into music. But can we rightly say that popular global music from Africa, such as the Afro pop, the Afro beat, is inspired by tales, stories, and rhythm of the African tribe and people, undiluted? Can we really say that 100%?
No, we can't, because whether we like it or not, we're living in the global one world space, and people get to travel around. So when you're expressing yourself musically, creatively, you take influences from every aspect of life that you've been exposed to. That is why you see somebody like, I dare say, Burna Boy, who spent most of his time outside Nigeria. When you listen to his kind of music, you find influences from different culture. But basically, because of the way some of us have been, were grounded in our culture more than others, and then it's a mix. So we can't really say it's 100% by our culture. Yeah, it plays a lot of influence. I mean, look at someone like Wizkid. He sings, and then you can hear the Fuji in the music. Wow. Look at Davido. He always puts Shekpe, Yoruba in the mix. So it's a bit of everything else, but mostly our own cultural influence that is playing out now.
All right, yeah. All right. So, Oluchi, I'm sure you got that. You got more questions, Oluchi?
Yes, I do, Deji. Just before we let you go, I understand we're down to the last minute. How is it like being multifaceted in the music industry, where you can be what you want to be? You can be a musician, you can be a presenter, you can be a comedian with the way things are going. I mean, how do you have all this blended into one entity like yourself?
Okay, so it has a lot to do with my upbringing. When I was growing up as the last child of a family, I was allowed to do many things I wanted to do because, I mean, truly there was less pressure on me. So secondary school was where I found comedy, because in secondary school and tolerance, I went to Federal Government College Idwani, which I still hold to high esteem. That place, if you don't have that threshold for insults, I mean, we barter, you know how boys do, we yab each other, and that's why I grew my comedy. And funny enough, way back then, my comedy used to be considered boring, but over time, I developed the skills and got better at it, and that stood me out. Now, being multifaceted in the industry allows me to know every aspect of how the entertainment industry works, because then I'm on the other side sometimes. I mean, like, you are interviewing me, I interview other artists as well. I get to know more about the business, and I get to know how you can navigate the industry and get your art out there. So for me, it's been an interesting journey.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so recently you did have a performance with one of Nigeria's, you could say, a well-known name based on history, talking about Fela Anikulapo Kuti's son, Seun Kuti, and not forgetting to Femi in the mix in between. Tell us your performances mixed with the cultural background that you try to emulate. How are you able to infuse this when you're faced with a different genre of music?
Also, the good thing about my kind of music is that I take a little bit from everywhere. And if you listen to some of my songs, I use some instruments that are very prominent in Afrobeat. That is the Afrobeat, original Afrobeat. Those are the ons. And you know, ons goes with high life as well. So I take a little bit of everything. So working with Seun Kuti and Egypt 80 was a seamless thing for me, because they're professionals. I'm professional in my art, and we had a lot of rehearsals, and it was a beautiful experience. I mean, performing at the Shrine has always been a beautiful experience. So it wasn't that difficult. It was actually quite interesting and smooth. It's an experience I'll never forget.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so lastly, what are you working on? You want to tell us that?
Okay, so I do an annual show called Agbo Jeff Extra, Urban Yoruba Comedy Music, Dance, Drama, Culture Concert, where we do comedy, music, dance, and drama, all in Yoruba. We have the chanters, and we do that annually. And the next one is coming up on 1st of May, 2022 at the popular Center Terra Culture, because they have everything we need there. And this year we'll be having some fantastic artists like Sashino Peters, Kenny Black, a host of other big wigs that I don't want to mention their names now. But sooner or later the advert will come out, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. It's an experience. We're not doing a show, we're having an experience.
All right. So we're having an experience. Oluchi, I'm hoping that you will be there as well.
Trust
you
me,
might
I'm all
you might,
smiles.
you
and
might you might
joke.
pick up that part of you were trying to learn from me. You know, the art of singing. You know.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Deji, for coming on the program. Thank you once again. It was a pleasure to have this time with you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. God bless you all. Because well, I always say, Mo pe lola Olúwa, Baba gbọ́pẹ́ mi. Kì bá ti ṣe pẹ́yìn ni bàbá ọba nọba òní ọba ìjọ gbogbo. Kì bá ti ṣe pẹ́yìn ni ayé ìbá ti rí mi gbèsè.
Whoa.
I was trying to understand what you were saying in that Nishe Baba Ni.
If not for you, there, Lord, the world would have conquered me.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Whoa, such a delight to have you with us.